All right, you guys get this. Elon Musk, you know him. Well, he's at it again. It's not rockets this time, or even those self-driving Teslas. No, this time it's AI. His company, XAI, they just launched this thing called Grok 3.
Grok 3.
Yeah, and the tech world is, well, let's just say they're freaking out a little bit. We've been digging into articles from all over the place. Tom's Hardware, Mint. There's even some pretty spicy takes over on Reddit.
Oh, Reddit?
Yeah, you know those Redditors. So are you ready to kind of explore this whole new AI thing?
Absolutely, let's do it. I think what has everyone so interested is Musk's claim that this Grok 3, it's designed to be, get this, maximally truth-seeking.
Maximally truth-seeking, that's a mouthful.
I know, right? And it really raises the question, how does an AI even determine, what is truth?
Right.
Especially in a world like ours, right?
Yeah, I mean, is it going to be like spitting out facts, or is it going to get into all those gray areas where things aren't so black and white?
Right.
But okay, before we go too far down that rabbit hole, I think we should break down what is this Grok 3 thing?
Yeah, what is it?
Really?
So it's not just one thing. It's actually like a whole family of models. You've got Grok 3, you've got Grok 3 Mini, and they even have these specialized versions that are focused on reasoning, which is, come on, that's pretty cool.
Wait, hold on. Specialized reasoning versions. What does that even mean?
Okay, so that means that some versions of this Grok 3, they're designed to handle these really complex reasoning tasks, like problem solving or, logic and stuff.
Like super advanced logic puzzle.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like having a toolbox and each tool has a specific purpose, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You wouldn't use a hammer to, I don't know, cut a piece of wood.
You'd use a saw.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
So they're giving it different tools, different AIs, different purposes.
So it's not just about information, giving you information. It's understanding it and being able to I don't know, manipulate it.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. And to be able to do all that, to train it, they use 100,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs.
100,000.
GPUs on their supercomputer, which they're calling Colossus, by the way.
Colossus?
Yeah, we're talking some serious horsepower here.
That's more GPUs than some small countries have, probably.
Yeah, they basically threw everything they had at this thing.
But the real test is how does it perform?
Right.
Does it live up to the hype?
Well, that's where it gets interesting because according to, and this is XAI's own benchmark, so take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
But they're saying that it's outperforming some big names, like big names in the AI world, like GPT-4 AO.
Oh, wow.
DeepSeek V3, even Claude 3.5.
Really?
Yeah, and they tested it on, not just random stuff, but math problems.
Oh, okay.
Science questions, coding, stuff that really puts an AI through the ringer.
Okay, so it's not all just hype then.
Well, that's what XAI is saying, and they've got the benchmarks to kind of back it up.
Right.
But, independent verification.
Yeah.
That's going to be really important to confirm all this. And, speaking of confirmation, our friends on Reddit, they're already kind of raising their eyebrows, a little skeptical.
Yeah, I could see, with something like this, you kind of have to be a little bit okay, show me.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you have, on the other hand, you have these big names, like people who really know AI. They're actually pretty impressed, like Andrej Karpathy.
Karpathy, yeah.
Former Tesla AI director.
Right.
Also, and this is interesting, he's a founder of OpenAI.
Oh, wow.
So he knows this stuff.
He knows AI.
And he's been playing with Grok 3, and he seems, from what I'm reading, he's pretty blown away, especially by this thinking mode.
Thinking mode.
Yeah, which he says is comparable to, get this, OpenAI's own O1 Pro.
So what is this thinking mode? Is it just a fancy name, or is there something really revolutionary going on here?
It's more than just a name. Think of it this way. Thinking mode, it basically allows Grok 3 to tackle these, complex problems, like multi-step problems.
Okay.
And Karpathy was really amazed by its ability to build a whole web page for a board game.
A web page, really?
For a board game similar to Settlers of Catan.
Settlers of Catan.
You know Settlers of Catan.
Yeah.
And this is something that a lot of AI models really struggle with because it takes a lot of planning and logic and even creativity, to build a whole web page.
So it's not just following instructions. It's it actually, I don't know, it's understanding the bigger picture.
That's right.
And then solving problems based on that.
I think that's a great way to put it, yeah.
Wow. That opens up a whole world of possibilities, doesn't it?
It really does. Just imagine AI helping out with complex engineering tasks, maybe designing products, new products, or even helping scientists solve these really hard research problems.
I mean, that's pretty wild.
It is wild. But, we've talked about how powerful it is and everything.
Yeah.
But let's talk features. Like,
Yeah.
what can it actually do?
Yeah, what makes it different?
What makes it stand out from all the other AIs out there? And one feature that I think is particularly interesting is this thing called deep search.
Deep search. Yeah, this one sounds pretty cool. Like from what I read in Mint, it basically scans like the entire internet
The entire internet.
to answer your question.
Right.
Like imagine that want to know like the rumors about the next iPhone or where they're filming like your favorite show, right? Boom.
Boom, it goes and finds it.
Grok 3 finds it.
It's like magic.
Yeah.
But, other AI companies, they're doing similar things, but
Right.
Grok 3's approach seems to be a lot more advanced.
How so?
It's not just finding links, it's analyzing,
Okay.
and it's synthesizing all this information from
Wow.
a ton of different sources.
So it's giving you like a complete picture, not just like, hey, here's a link, good luck.
Exactly.
It's like having your own like research assistant,
That's a good way to put it.
but one that's like powered by AI.
Super intelligent AI, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
It is pretty wild. And, and remember those specialized reasoning versions we were talking about earlier?
Right.
Those are designed to, they go beyond just finding information. They can actually help you analyze and understand
Okay.
really complex data.
Oh, wow.
So, like, making connections and conclusions that you might miss.
So it's not just knowing more, it's like thinking better.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's giving your brain a boost.
Like a super-powered brain boost.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got this super smart AI that can solve problems.
Solve problems.
Find information.
Yeah.
But can it be, fun?
Well, XAI seems to think so because, according to Mint, it tells jokes.
What? No way.
Yes.
Is it stand-up comedian level humor?
Not quite.
Or is it more like dad joke territory?
I'd just say it's more dad jokes.
Okay, well, hey.
But still, the fact that they're incorporating humor at all is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if an AI can make you laugh, it feels a little bit more,
Human.
human, right?
And that's kind of a key aspect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of AI development, to make these systems that are not just intelligent, but also, like, relatable and engaging.
Right, because who wants to talk to a robot that's just like all Siri?
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got this super smart AI, can solve problems, find information, tell a joke.
Tell a joke.
But let's be real, all this cutting edge tech, it doesn't come cheap.
No, it doesn't.
So how much money are they pouring into this thing?
Well, Mint is reporting that XAI is looking for about, get this, $10 billion in funding.
$10 billion?
$10 billion, which is a lot, but it really reflects the potential they see in Grok 3.
Wow. $10 billion. I mean, they must be pretty confident this is going to be, a game changer.
They are. And, it's interesting because Musk, he actually tried to buy OpenAI.
OpenAI, yeah.
For even more than that.
More than $10 billion.
Yeah, and Mint mentions that he co-founded OpenAI.
Wait, he co-founded it?
Yeah.
And then tried to buy it back?
Yeah, he left the company, and then he actually sued them.
He sued them?
Twice.
The company that he co-founded?
It's a lot of drama.
That's some serious drama.
Yeah. And it shows, I think, how important this whole AI thing is, this race, this AI arms race.
Right.
He sees Grok 3 as a competitor to, ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
And he's not afraid to, stir things up.
So it's more than just like, a tech rivalry.
Yeah, it's personal.
It's personal.
It is.
Okay, so then that begs the question, what are the long-term implications of this whole, competition?
Right. I mean, is this going to push in the field forward, or is it going to lead to, some things we didn't really want?
Some unintended consequences, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so back to Grok 3. We're all excited. We want to get our hands on it, right?
Of course.
But can we download it on our phones yet?
Not quite. Mint says that right now it's only available to people who have X Premium Plus.
X Premium Plus, so they're using it to boost their subscriptions.
Smart move.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
It creates a revenue stream, and it gives them users to test it out on.
To data test it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Get all that feedback.
Okay, so if you want the future of AI,
you know what to do.
hit that X Premium Plus.
Get that subscription.
But what can you actually do with it?
Well, that's what we'll be talking about.
Oh, after the break.
Yeah, after the break, we'll dive into some of the real-world applications for Grok 3.
Okay, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so we're back, and I gotta say, I'm really curious about this whole Grok 3 thing. What's it actually like to use? Is it like I'm talking to some super intelligent being, or is it more like, using a really, really advanced search engine?
Well, from what I've been reading, it seems like it's kind of both. Users like Andres Karpathy, he describes the interface as being really intuitive. You can, like, interact with it in a natural way.
So you don't have to be like a coding whiz or an AI expert.
No, no, not at all.
Okay, good, because I'm definitely not.
And that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Because if this is going to change the world, it needs to be easy to use.
Yeah, it needs to be for everyone,
Exactly.
not just the techie people.
Right, and it seems like that's one of XAI's goals,
Okay.
to make this, available to everyone.
Democratize it, yeah.
Democratize AI, exactly. Anyone who has an internet connection and a curious mind.
Yeah, I like that. But okay, let's get practical.
Okay.
Like, what are some actual examples of how people are using Grok 3 right now?
Right, besides the jokes and the searching.
Yeah, beyond the jokes.
Yeah. Well, one area where it's already making, some big waves
Okay.
is education.
Education.
Imagine students having this, like, personalized AI tutor
Oh, wow.
that adapts to, how they learn and how fast they learn.
Yeah.
It could help them, grasp these really complex ideas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Provide feedback, instant feedback, even recommend other resources.
That's like having a super smart study buddy, like 2047.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. And it's not just for students either. I mean, professionals
Oh, yeah, okay.
could use it to stay up to date
Keep learning.
or even learn completely new skills.
So I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
I could use this to keep up with all the new research.
Exact. Or a lawyer analyzing these, complicated legal documents.
Yeah.
The possibilities are pretty much endless.
Okay, so we've got education, professional development. What about business?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure companies are finding ways to use this.
I mean, one that jumps out is customer service.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You could have these, like, really intelligent chatbots
Right.
that could handle all sorts of customer questions.
2047, and that would free up.
The human agents, to
Yeah.
focus on the more difficult problems.
Yeah, because let's be real. Some of those chatbots they're pretty frustrating.
They are.
Like you're just like banging your head against a wall.
I know.
But a chatbot that actually understands you.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And another interesting use for business
Sure.
is marketing and advocacy.
Marketing.
Think about it. Grok 3, it could analyze tons of customer data
Oh, wow.
and find trends, find
So
preferences.
you know how to target your ads better?
Exactly. It's like, having a marketing analyst.
A super powered one.
Yes, working behind the scenes.
That's pretty cool. But what about like creative stuff?
Creative stuff.
Like could it write music? Could it design a website?
That's where things get really, really interesting. I mean, we've already seen AI generate music, create art, even write poems.
Yeah.
But Grok 3, with its reasoning skills, could take all that to a whole new level.
Wait, so you're saying like Grok 3 could like compose a symphony?
Or design a website.
Really? I mean, is there anything this thing can't do?
Well, it's important to remember it's still a tool.
Right.
It's not a replacement for humans.
Okay.
But it can help us,
Yeah.
boost our creativity.
Okay. Yeah.
Explore possibilities we might not have thought of.
So it's not AI taking over, it's AI empowering humans.
I like that. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I like that. But okay, so we've talked about all these capabilities.
Mhm.
How does it stack up against the competition?
Right. Is it really as good as SAI says it is?
Yeah, is it really that groundbreaking?
Well, we talked about those benchmarks before, and there's still some people who aren't quite sure.
They need more proof.
More proof, right. Independent verification is going to be really important.
Yeah.
To see if it really is that good. But even the people who are, skeptical, they admit it's a big step forward.
So it's a big deal, even if it's not, the be-all, end-all.
Exactly. And we got to remember this whole field, it's moving so fast.
Yeah, it changes all the time.
There are new breakthroughs all the time.
Right. So today's, top AI.
Could be old news tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go back to something we talked about earlier.
Okay.
That whole maximally truth-seeking thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how can a machine even figure out what truth is?
Especially in a world where everyone has their own opinion about everything.
Right, yeah.
Like, even humans have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
We're all biased.
We are.
We all have our own ways of looking at the world.
Exactly.
So how can we expect a machine to do any better?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a tough one, but XAI says that they trained Grok 3 on this massive amount of data.
Okay.
That includes, all sorts of viewpoints and perspectives.
So it's not just facts, it's like understanding the context.
The context, yeah.
And the different ways people see things.
That's what they're saying, yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty tall order for an AI.
It is.
But I guess that's what makes Grok 3 so...
It's what they're going for sure.
It's not just processing information. It's like thinking about it.
Trying to understand.
Yeah, understanding it.
And, it raises some big questions, right?
Yeah, it does.
About AI's role in society.
Yeah, like if we're going to rely on AI for information,
We got to be sure it's doing it fairly.
you got to be sure it's not biased. Yeah.
Right. And that brings us to a really, really important question.
Ooh, another cliffhanger.
How do we ensure that AI is used for good?
Okay, yeah.
How do we keep it from being misused
Or weaponized.
or weaponized? That's right. And those are questions that we need to talk about.
Definitely,
And we're
definitely.
going to dive into that right now.
Okay, let's do it. All right, so how do we make sure that all this AI stuff like Grok 3 is actually used for good? I mean, it's kind of like a serious topic, but we got to talk about it.
No, absolutely we do. I mean, the potential is huge, right? All these benefits we've been talking about.
Right.
But there are some risks too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's like we're at this
Okay.
crossroads, and the decisions we make now, they're really going to shape, the whole future of AI.
So where do we even start? It feels like such a big, like, complicated thing to even think about.
Well, I think one really important step is just talking about it.
Okay.
Having open conversations about these ethical implications.
Right.
And we need everyone at the table, researchers, policymakers, even just everyday people. Like, who's going to be affected by this?
Right. It can't just be the tech companies or the governments deciding everything.
No, it has to be a conversation that we all have.
Yeah.
And it needs to happen now. I mean, while AI is still, relatively young,
Okay.
we have a chance to kind of guide it.
Steer it in the right direction.
Exactly. Steer it, make sure it aligns with, our values, what we want as a society.
Okay. So we need to talk, but what should we be talking about? Like, what are the big ethical things we need to be thinking about?
Well, one that comes up a lot is bias.
Bias.
Because, if AI is trained on biased data, then
It's going to be biased.
it's going to be biased, right? And that could lead to some really unfair outcomes.
Especially for certain groups of people. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's not enough to just build a super smart AI.
Right.
We need to make sure it's like a fair AI.
A fair and just AI, yeah. And to do that, we need to make sure the data it's learning from is diverse.
Okay.
It represents, all sorts of different perspectives.
Yeah, and I mean, how do you even tackle that?
It's tough, yeah.
The whole bias thing.
Well, I think it takes a multifaceted approach.
Okay.
We need, ethicists, social scientists involved in the whole development process.
Right.
And then we need testing, auditing to make sure there's no bias creeping in.
So it's not just a one-time fix?
No, it's ongoing,
It's a process.
It's a process. It takes all of us working together.
Okay, so we've got bias. What else? What other ethical challenges are out there?
Well, another big one is jobs.
Jobs.
Job displacement.
Oh yeah, like robots taking our jobs.
Right. As AI gets more sophisticated, it can automate more things that humans are doing now.
Right. And then what happens to those people?
Exactly. And it's a valid concern, but
Yeah.
we have to remember AI can create new jobs too.
Oh, okay.
So it's about, training people for those new jobs, finding new economic models.
So it's not just about being afraid of the robots.
No.
It's like adapting,
But
figuring out how we work together.
Exactly.
Okay, so bias, jobs, anything else we need to be thinking about?
Well, we can't forget about the potential for misuse.
Misuse.
AI in the wrong hands.
Yeah, like what could go wrong?
Well, autonomous weapons.
Oh yeah, those are scary.
Spreading misinformation.
Right.
Even manipulating people's behavior.
So it's like those sci-fi movies where the robots take over. We don't want that to happen.
No, we don't want that to happen. And that's why we need safeguards, regulations,
Rules.
ethical guidelines.
To make sure it's used for good.
Exactly.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about who's controlling it.
It's about how we use it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
We need to make sure that AI benefits everyone, not just, a select few.
Right, yeah, that's a big challenge.
It is a big challenge.
But it sounds like there are people working on it, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of smart people working on these problems.
So are you optimistic about the future of AI?
I am cautiously optimistic. I think
Okay.
AI can do a lot of good in the world.
Yeah.
But we have to be smart about it. We
Yeah.
have to think ahead. We have to have these ethical principles guiding us.
Or we've got this amazing tool.
We do.
So we got to use it wisely.
We do. The future of AI, it's not set in stone, It's something we're all creating together.
Right, with the choices we make.
Yeah, the choices we make.
All right, so big takeaway for our listeners today. What do you want them to remember?
The future of AI, it's in our hands.
Okay.
We all have a role to play.
Yeah.
We need to stay informed. We need to engage in these conversations.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. Be proactive.
Because what we do now is going to affect future generations.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
It is. It is.
Okay, well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Grok 3.
Grok 3?
Hopefully, you listening out there, you've got a better understanding now of this whole AI thing, its potential.
The benefits.
The benefits and yeah, those ethical questions that we were just talking about.
Because, the conversation doesn't end here.
No, it doesn't.
Keep learning, keep
We'll
exploring.
keep digging into this amazing world of AI.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time, JSHKelsey 2.